Good afternoon and welcome to Blackout Recovery.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Is it on?
I'm intrigued by this air quality issue, Ronnie.
Yeah, what's going on with your hair, man?
What's the air problem? The air problem is that my air quality in my flat should be like 1.25 and it was rocketing high. And I thought I left my cooker on. Because obviously if no one's in the flat then there's no reason why the air quality is getting poor.
Do you live next door to somebody who farts a lot?
I've got double glazing and
No farts coming through
No
that
farts
then.
coming in.
no one wanted
Double barrier.
smells coming. But no, on a serious note, I actually thought, what is going on? Because maybe I've knocked the cooker on or something.
Do you think someone's drilled small holes in the wall?
And they're breathing
deliberately. They're breathing in, farting through there.
You know, ones that like they tuck behind the pillow and then.
Have you been eating a lot of curry recently?
Brussels sprouts, it is Christmas.
Do you know, I actually found out the real reason why it was still going, because it was only about 40 minutes after I'd gotten into podcasts when it alerted my phone, and it was because I sprayed deodorant before I come out, and I realised that when I spray deodorant it really messes up the air quality and it takes a good hour for it to...
What, the machine can't understand that?
Yeah.
So the machine can't understand that you're spraying deodorant?
Yeah.
Even though it can ping to your phone and tell you the air quality's down? Ooh. Does it ping like a disaster message?
Yeah.
With a picture of John Cusack fighting an alien?
No.
Your air quality is down, this is dire, you must return home immediately.
Just an image of a dog with a shitting dog, and your house could be on fire. And the legs are wobbling on the dog.
All the fire.
So let me get this right. So something you spray on yourself to make yourself smell better is something which makes the air quality like bad. That's a contradiction there, isn't it?
That's why you're supposed to use roll-on, not spray.
Yeah, that's why they go bang when you set fire to them.
Yeah. I used to smash aerosols when I was like 15. We used to run in Asda, yeah, get a crate of antiperspirant of Dove. I'll be gone in it, yeah. Run it down this thing.
That had to be Dove.
Yeah, because Dove was the best one in it. Dove was the one that made you trip out the most. The Lynx one, it has to be antiperspirant as well. Then you get your sock, yeah, and then you like sit on the field with your sock, just fucking.
Really?
Worry about me.
I'll worry about me, man. You're not the only one. No. I live in here, man.
So long as you can see that that's really abnormal.
Oh yeah, my whole life has been pretty abnormal, man.
Yeah.
I got suspended for setting someone's face on fire with one of those aerosol guns.
Where?
At school.
At school?
Junior school, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know him.
We had an enterprising group of year 9s in the food technology room, and they locked the teacher in the store cupboard.
Oh, that's what I did.
And
I
one
did
of them-
that at
One of
school.
them was holding a lighter to the door and then firing the keyhole while she was in there. It was a really small store cupboard.
I didn't do that.
And then they were playing this game down the fire escape where they'd assembled loads of implements and utensils and all of this stuff. And one team had to run down the fire escape while the other team was chucking all this stuff at them. And you got a number of points for each hit. And by the time this one girl had managed to get out of the room, run away and come and find me, which is in another block, they'd already got quite a points tally going and they were betting on it. There were only meant to be 20 of them in the group, but there were 60 odd of them by the time I got there. It's like they'd migrated from other places in the school. And there was someone there literally standing like the tote. These were kids that couldn't necessarily read very well, but when it came to running something like that,
Oh, yeah.
one of them's going to be in events management.
Events planner.
But that poor woman, when we got her out the cupboard,
Got me a bit out there,
Yeah.
dear God.
Yeah. I got kicked out of
I don't-
geography for
yeah.
that.
I'm not even going to go into what I done at school. It's probably not appropriate, to be honest. Yeah.
We were more into poppers at school.
Yeah,
The
poppers.
poppers. Do you remember the poppers that you used to
love
get?
poppers.
Yeah, yeah.
I used
Give
to
you a
love
banging
poppers
headache.
as
Did them
well.
so much like your face would go orange.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to pass out.
headache,
I loved them.
Vile pop.
Oh, I
The
loved
liquids as
them.
well,
I used to take them to clubbing with us.
I know, they're vile.
Do them in the
Yeah,
clubs.
disgusting.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it now, obviously, because that would be against
It's
what I'm
slightly
supposed to be
mindful
doing.
for it, isn't it?
We was in the boring market the other day, wasn't we? We saw the poppers, right? Yeah, and then I posed the question to Ben. Well, if they're legal, aren't they? So
They
you
are
can buy-
legal.
They're legal. So they're legal.
I think they're legal.
So like, it's a mood or mind altering substance.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. But alcohol's legal.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Shut down.
Shut.
Nicotine's still legal.
Nicotine's
Yeah,
legal.
Opioids are still
Yeah.
legal in the
Yeah,
right
in pill form.
Yeah, you want to hit Portugal, bro.
You can get natural highs
Yeah, you're
and
in
Zen
Portugal,
and
you get my
places
crack
like
in the
that.
counter,
Magic
bro.
mushroom.
crazy.
So don't take poppers.
Mushrooms legal? They're not, are they? Magic
No.
mushrooms are not legal.
I was thinking about
They're
this the other day.
herbal, but
The
they're
problem
not
with
legal.
magic mushrooms is they grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Unlike everything else.
I was thinking the other day, yeah. Cows, because they all fucking eat them, don't they?
Yeah.
And then they shit, and then when you got like the piles of shit, that's where they're all sprouting, yeah. So these cows have got to be off their barnet, ain't they?
Yeah, they've got to be.
They've got to be tripping balls,
That's
mate.
why they
like-
sleep standing up.
You know what I mean? They've got to be tripping, bro.
Just tripping out, man.
Staring into space.
It's too much effort to sit down.
Just like, oh,
You drive past the field and
If
the cow.
I sit down, I am not going to be able to get back up. I need to-
What do you think they say to each other when the cars come past?
They just tell each other to move, don't they?
look at that spaceship.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why 4 very drunk people staggering around a field can actually get to a cow and tip it without being stopped.
Yeah,
They're just standing there.
Because the
thinking-
cow's just thinking,
And they're just standing there like, look at this drunk idiot. I'm fucked and I'm tripping.
Yeah, but how come they're not laughing, innit?
They've had
I
too
can't
much.
stop laughing when I do mushrooms.
Move.
That's what I do.
Mushrooms just make me laugh.
Mate,
as well.
honestly,
Mushrooms.
you bring one
Make
up,
me
you bring
laugh.
one up, you just...
Just for the record, whoever's listening to this, we are not tripping.
no, this is actually natural laughter. On the subject in question, I suppose, seeing as where we are, who's got a positive Christmas story?
What for you? The year ahead coming, or you mean
For
previous?
whenever.
Really trying to dig deep for a positive one.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one. So this will be my second Christmas clean.
Well done.
Well,
It's been hard, man, but I think like it dawned on me the other day when I was walking through the centre and they got all this odd cabins up, innit? And I was like, I'm here again. It was a good feeling actually. I'm here again. I'm still clean. I'm still doing the do.
It's
That's
good.
my Christmas story.
Well, that's the story in itself.
yeah, definitely.
I could tell you the story in between what happened from the logs to the logs, but
Just being there at all.
yeah.
It's the beginning, isn't it?
I don't feel lonely this Christmas. I didn't feel lonely last Christmas, but whereas before I had so many people around me, but there was all drinkers and users and what have you.
Yeah.
I still felt lonely. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But now I know that I've got lots of friends and like-minded people around me. It's nice, man.
Yeah.
You know
Not
that-
that thing of being alone in a room full of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was doing some reading the other day and they said about how loneliness is an emotional state. It's nothing to do with, because I've been in with loads of people and I've just felt so alone.
Yeah.
Alright, I isolated a lot, but I used to hang around with a lot of people. I did.
Yeah.
But I never knew anyone. No one ever knew me. It was always very surface level mask bullshit. This is what I show to you because I am hard. And it was all bollocks. And it's an emotional thing, that loneliness. It's nothing to do with people. It's how
Yeah, it's the way you
Yeah.
feel inside. It's internal. You feel
bonkers.
different from everyone else. You
Yeah.
don't want to be around anyone else. And
But it's choosing better company. Like, I make better decisions now. I choose better company.
Yeah.
I have time boundaries for myself. I choose who I want to spend my time with and give my energy to. And I've written a Christmas list this year, and I feel so positive about Christmas this year. I've written a Christmas list of the people that I want to buy gifts for. It's the first time that I've actually been present, really, and the first time that I've actually been in England to celebrate it and want to make the effort. But it's a mindset, it's a choice. Like, I choose to be happy and I choose to celebrate Christmas because actually I want to spend time with my family this year. I want to spend time with the people that I love. I want to spend time with my friends. And like you said about the loneliness, from this programme, I'm so gifted and blessed that I've got so many good people in my life now. Even doing this podcast and meeting you guys, it's been amazing. Neil, you've done so much for me this year. You've brought so many good gifts into my life. I'm so grateful for that and for the friendships that I've made in recovery. I feel blessed. Like, my Christmas list is long because I've put in the effort and people have made the effort with me. And what I've given, I've received. It's been beautiful. Yeah. I feel like you, like, I don't feel lonely, even though I'm single as hell and I've been single for so long and I want to meet someone and I want to be in a relationship, but I don't feel lonely. There's a difference between being alone and lonely. That's the difference. I'm not alone and I don't feel lonely.
And
I
even
just
when
don't
you are
have-
alone, you don't feel lonely, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have lovely people in my life that are supportive, that call to see, how you're doing, and I do that back. I give that back.
Because a lot of that at Christmas that surfaces, you get these occasional campaigns about loneliness at Christmas. People who are on their own at Christmas. And it's all very superficially packaged, isn't it? You got a picture of some old lady with a cup of tea and say, oh, isn't this sad? And yet, there are probably an awful lot more people that are lonely
Completely
in the way that
alone,
you
man.
just described.
Yeah.
And like you say, Matt, you stop being alone, full stop, don't you? But you stop being lonely, and you can be on your own.
Yeah.
I can be on my own these days.
I-
Sometimes I fucking want to be.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
Sometimes I really want to be on my own.
When I choose to be.
And I really want to
Massively.
just sit there and mong and
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
else. But I also know that anything is only a phone call away or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or getting on
Yeah.
the bus
Yeah.
away. Whereas certainly at the end of my drinking, I had nowhere to go.
No.
Nowhere to go.
I didn't want to go anywhere. I would think about something, be like, that sounds like a good idea, and then it'd come down, I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Everything was so like,
Disconnected.
it was massive, wasn't it? Small things were massive, and it was like, it's all that crazy thinking. It's mental, isn't it? I'm like you, man. I've learnt that if my head is a nice place to be, I can just be with me, man. I think like I'm the only person that I need to really appreciate.
Yeah.
I've always had my back, but for me, using was a survival. That's what it was for me. Like living in survival mode. That's how I got ease and comfort. And if I wasn't, it was psychotic, wasn't it? So it's like that's my survival mode. So
I think it's beautiful. Like I think being able to be in your own company is
Yeah.
beautiful, but life's about sharing it with
Yeah,
others.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? It's
yeah.
about sharing experiences with other people. Like you say, it's beautiful to be comfortable on my own and be able to, because in addiction especially, I was never really comfortable on my own, and I can be sometimes really uncomfortable on my own in recovery. But it's like you say, that you always know that there is, if I want to or I need to, there's someone I can reach out to. I think it's more beautiful to be able to share beautiful moments with other people
Yeah.
than sitting and being able to just be comfortable on my own.
yeah, 100%. But that about growing your own self. If you are more connected with yourself and more comfortable in sitting with yourself, when you do share things, it's your authentic
Yeah,
self
yeah, yeah,
sharing it. And you're actually like, even for me, like vulnerability is not just talking about shit you don't want to talk about. It's about just expressing yourself and sort of like sitting in, I want to do this, I feel like doing this. Especially in the sense of like, if you do that, you will find people that correlate with your authentic self,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you'll have better time shared.
But that's what it's about. It's about getting out of your own head and giving back.
Yeah, yeah,
and that's
yeah.
where the loneliness ends. So say if I wanted to go feed the homeless at a soup kitchen, I'm getting out of myself. It's bringing me joy. And that's where joy comes from, is helping others. So when I'm giving back, that's where happiness is,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
outside of self and giving back. So going to work with the homeless over Christmas, whatever it's going to be, working, planting, I don't know, bushes, you know, whatever, something that's giving back. That's where joy comes from, and that's where you get outside of self, and that's where you start connecting with other people and meeting your tribe, basically. Getting out and meeting new people.
Also being able to share it with, Christmas is about family really, isn't it?
And
I
friends.
mean,
and friends.
I would say that the idea, the actual general idea of Christmas, straight away when I think of Christmas, I think of family. I've never really felt comfortable, always either because the way I've been living or just the guilt and shame and all that sort of stuff around family. And it's beautiful to be able to go and spend some time with family, feel comfortable and be able to give a bit of love to them. On Christmas, yeah, it's about, when you hear of Christmas, like all adverts, it's always about families coming together and friends, like you say. But just sharing moments with others.
Like Christmas has become a thing that's kind of been developed now so much, you know, so before I was born, and it's gone on as far as I can see it. It's definitely like a marketing thing. It's definitely like a money spinner thing. It's definitely like a divide and conquer. It's definitely like a thing to make people feel lonely. But since I've come around and started doing this process of being like reborn and like restored to some form of sanity, restored to kind of some form of authenticity, what's going on in general, just within me, but looking at the world through a different kind of lens, through a different perspective. Like every day's like Christmas for me at the moment. Every day should be a day where I'm valuing my friends and my family and wanting to spend as much time with them as humanly possible. Yet I've got this thing which I need to have to live in this world as it's set up, which is called money, to kind of make that a little bit more comfortable, because things need to be paid, and to do things you need this tool. So that takes time, that takes energy. We're trying to get the balance right between doing that and spending time with friends and family and doing stuff that I want to do for myself. Like, you know, being able to kind of sit with myself and make kites, or go and fly a kite, or I don't know, or learn how to play the piano or read a book. And the way the world's kind of structured, that woman shouldn't be having just maybe Christmas, she should be able to spend it because it's just another day. But the way the community is kind of set up, she's spending like most of the year alone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why they throw these things on the TV and they show the elderly man or woman. You know, can you give up 2 hours of your time for Christmas Day? You know, to spend a bit of time with this
What about the
person?
rest of the year?
What about the rest of the
I know,
fucking
man.
year? But you know, I see it as it is what it is, and like we're living in a society where they're trying to get the right
Well, it's
balance
not,
around.
but it's not all bollocks though, because it's
The way it's
for some people
structured.
It's religious.
No, not the actual Christmas Day itself. I mean, like the way
The
society.
marketing behind it.
Then, like, you know, family chocolates.
But actually,
Chocolates,
if you
boom,
look at the adverts this year, they've done it differently. So each, like Sainsbury's and another person, they've got where the children were adopted. The situation isn't as ready-made family that's perfect. They're not doing that this year. They're coming from a different angle with it because they recognise that perhaps not everybody's Christmas is great. For some people, they don't have family and it's not a great Christmas. But I think that kind of perspective and a different angle on it, that there's still things to be grateful for.
There's always things to be grateful for, and it's just the way it is. So if we're going to bring it back round to stuff like talking about community stuff, I found out some information about Switzerland of all places, and how
Yeah.
they had this big heroin epidemic
Epidemic.
going on in the 70s, right? Yeah, early 70s, and the way they conquered it was like the communities wrapped themselves around these kind of people and kind of sorted it through that way, because like at first they were doing that, yeah, we're going to put a war on this, and they, like, this ain't going to work, right? Yeah. So the communities come together, wrap themselves around the individuals, and they worked it out together.
That's also how the law works.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Community first. Now we don't have this.
We don't do
anymore.
it, and it's
But Christmas has certainly been bought and sold.
Yeah,
definitely.
Christmas is only a
Coca-Cola
commercial
owns
endeavour.
Christmas.
And the very things that we're talking about that are positive about Christmas, like family, like not being alone, like knowing that we've got people in our lives and all of that. Those don't carry any currency in the media
And
and
that's
the
what
public eye.
every day's Christmas for
What's
me.
in the media and the public eye is buy this, buy this, buy this. You'll be happy if you have that. Buy that. Worry about credit later. You can pay for it next year, and then you pay for the next Christmas after that
Yeah,
until
yeah, yeah.
September, and then you'll be bankrupt.
And like you said
And
it well,
it's
Richard.
all about what we can sell to you.
And like you said, you know, like what about, forget like the elderly woman there, what about the person who's doing all the right things in life, but yet we call it awakening of the spirit, don't we? Like the rebirth, you know. But what about those people who've done all the right things through their life? They haven't got issues, whatever, but yet they're still feeling very lonely.
There used to be community activities, communal spaces all around this country. They don't exist anymore.
I'm grateful we have the meetings because that gives us a sense of community.
It does us, yes.
Yeah,
That's
but it
what
doesn't
I'm
give them.
Elderly people perhaps lost everyone around them.
Friends,
They
family.
used to be able to go to public libraries on a regular basis for old-time musical stuff and all that. But public libraries are now so squeezed, they can't really offer that anymore.
Hence, when the pandemic happened, alcoholism and things like that started to go through the roof, because people started to really take a stock and see like, I ain't really got a life, and then like a lot of them just started to drink it away. You know, I'm getting paid, I'm still getting paid. I've got all this time now. What do? I have a drink.
I think it is relevant. What you've said about the Christmas thing, about how, well, basically, love should be offered all year round, not fucking one day a year, isn't it? Or a period, or a season. But the same thing, that marketing, the money, that happens everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Buy this,
It's
buy this,
society.
buy this. Right, you need this car.
Honest
You need
buying
this,
now.
this. You need this, this. This is the way of the world, isn't it? And then you said about like people that do everything right. So I was speaking to my therapist. People do everything right end up loading. I was speaking to my therapist yesterday, and I said like, I feel like I've been fucking hard done by. I do. Yeah. Loads of shit that's happened. It wasn't my fault. And it's put me on a path of self-destruction and annihilation of me and the world. Fucking hating everything. And she went, you have. And I was like, and then we went in a bit deeper. It's like, life ain't fair, is it? Life's not fair, man. So like, it is what it is. I have been hard done by, yes. But so have other people. So have all of it. And the crux of it all is like, same as Switzerland, is like, they solved that shit by communities coming together. Whether or not it's the media portraying what Christmas is that depicts a picture in your mind, what you experience personally of Christmas will be your opinion of what Christmas is, isn't it? That's an illusion. It does definitely create a picture of what it is, but I believe, as Amy just said about the whole Sainsbury's adverts changing it, like we are starting to change as a community, as a culture, as an environment, because I believe we fell out of alignment with the universe completely and utterly. We are not doing the right stuff. We are fucking the planet up. We're just destroying everything. And we will get chewed up and spat out. nature won't have it, man. Nature will chew us up and spit us out, and it will start again. And dinosaurs and that. And it
Cool,
keeps
I want to
going
be a
on.
dinosaur.
Yeah.
Which one?
Denver, the last one.
No, me. Barney.
I want to be Barney the purple.
The
I want to
purple
be
dog.
Barney.
I want to be Denver, the last one.
I
You
want to
can
be
Barney.
purple and go around singing.
What are you doing for Christmas?
Christmas is a very easy thing for the media to grab hold of, to define it financially, to define it socially, to rip people off, to tell people you can have this on the never never, to allow people to buy into this idea that I can make things better if I get this credit card. The media have tried to do that with Black Friday as well. They do it in the summer. They do it round Easter. Easter eggs will be on the shelves as soon as we're back in
Christmas
recording
is
in
on.
January.
Yeah.
But human beings do this. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
my point.
yeah.
We have invented Santa Claus. Are you on the naughty list or are you on the
What do you mean
nice
invented?
list? Sorry, Santa Claus is real, by the way, children.
That's right.
He
I
is
don't
real and he is coming to your house
I
near
don't
you.
think any children are listening to this.
They are. Don't.
Some of them are grown
Are you on
children,
the
man.
naughty list or the nice list? Do you know what I mean? And already it's a manipulation.
You can make Christmas
Who
false
fucks
if
that
you want
anyway?
and a lie and all that. That's fine. That's your Christmas. Enjoy. Or you can make Christmas happy.
Yeah.
Go like joy. I'm going to see my family, and I love the adverts because it's all Christmassy and the jingle bells and stuff. I ain't going to spend every penny in the shops.
It's up to the
It's
person.
whatever you want to make it.
Exactly.
I do love Christmas. I love their shops trying to say, "Come on, buy this, buy this." Like, nah, fuck off. I mean, it's simple. Or go on then.
I'll get it off Amazon.
And going back to the old lady and the lack of community, isn't that like a lack of like spirituality? Because in communities they have churches, we've got fellowship and 12-step meetings, but back in the day they would have had different like cultures have different beliefs, different religions, different traditions, and we've separated ourselves from that spirituality. So
Church attendance is minimal now compared to what it was, and it's gone down radically in the last
yeah,
20 years.
which is why people feel so disconnected,
and
lack of
therefore
spirituality.
people aren't connected to something in the community because it's the community centre and the church hall. The church hall is not the church, but the church hall is where a lot of community events would take place.
Yeah.
And historically, if there was old Mrs. Johnson whose husband had died, who didn't seem to have any other friends, then the vicar would be going around to visit.
Well, if it's meant to be a community spirit thing like Switzerland, then why aren't the old biddies all getting together and saying, right then, let's have a little meeting
Oh,
and
come
call
on.
it a book club or
Ronnie,
something.
Hell's Grannies.
Yeah, my nan would really want that.
Do you know why? Because in different countries they have different traditions. So in like France, they play bowls and they go outside because the weather's nice, and they all sit around outside and they play bowls, and they have a lovely like elderly tradition
They
there.
still have
They still have
community.
bowls here.
They still have community,
Yeah,
yeah.
look, them, they're all
But
right.
it's cold
Whereas in
England.
Russia, you get to a certain age and they kill you.
Do
It's
they?
too cold.
Fucking
No.
hell for that, man.
No, because
You can't put it past them Russians, bro.
I
They
only
are
said that
bombing.
to see if you were listening. No, in Russia, lots of people live to be very,
That's
very
what
old.
Hardcore, isn't it?
Whether Christmas is like the meanings behind Christmas and all that stuff is real or not, or whatever, or is a being in recovery and being so fucking missing from my family for so many years at Christmas and not being present. I think it's an important time of year to show love to my family and to be around.
Christmas, I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a part of recovery is to be around for, and it
Do you
is
think
all
that's the
year round.
biggest thing?
But for my family, especially my family, Christmas is a big time of year where they get together. So it's really important to be present for them at that time, as well as other times, and as well as being present all year round in recovery. But specifically at that time of
Do you
year.
think it carries
It's no different from the World Cup.
significance
Exactly.
Everyone's happy
for
at
the
that.
fact that you've been absent for so long and the choice to be present is the biggie?
Yeah, totally.
And
Being
I can
able to
understand
be
why
present.
that focuses on Christmas, you see, because for my family it's the only time they're all in the same place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, similar to mine. It's not like my family are a family that get together like all year round or anything like that. Christmas is really
It's
the
time
only
for
sort of-
celebrating. Like, people just seem to get together more, don't they? Like, for instance, we've got a works
Cliff Richard said that.
food. Yeah.
But you know, you asked for like a Christmas moment, didn't you? And so one of my favourite, if not one of my best Christmas like memories for many a year, was being away from my family. I was clean at the time. I was with my partner's family in Exeter. It was Christmas morning with my little dog, and feeling like really just happy in that. But I think like what it was as well was like I knew that the family in London was all right. I knew they was, they was comfortable. Like they knew where I was. They knew that I was all right and everything. And But yeah, that was one of the best. Maybe because it was one of the best Christmases I had since my father passed in the night. It was like the first one that I'd been like clean. No, the second one I'd been clean for in that little period of sobriety. But yeah, I remember it was just like just looking over like, what's that big thing they've got in Exeter? They've got,
Cathedral.
no, like that big bit of land. It's
Moors.
Moors.
The Moors.
What Moors is it called? And looking over that, and yeah, it's nuts because it's like virtually on the doorstep where she lived.
Dartmoor.
Dartmoor.
Dartmoor, that's where my nan used to live.
That's where that's it. What's the word?
Somerset.
My mum's got a house.
And it was just beautiful. I think just really appreciating the stillness of the morning, the chill, and feeling like really that everything was all right, you know.
Yeah,
Even though I wasn't
really
with my family, but I was with a family, so yeah. State of mind again, isn't it?
Exactly, because you were in a relationship, you were happy, you had a dog, all these beautiful things. If I had a dog and I was in a relationship, I would be really happy at
Amy,
Christmas. Amen to that.
if you feel like you need to be in a relationship, definitely don't get into one.
So let me just
Do
get
not
this
get
straight.
into one.
We're not offering particular advice here. Amy's solution is get a relationship, get a dog, and you'll be really happy at Christmas.
In fact,
Neil was over the moon when he
in fact, there's 6 people here and we're all single. So definitely don't take advice from us.
I know I've got to stay single because yesterday I was livid because somebody told me that their partner had told them that is it okay if I take a woman to work out at the gym, and I was like, and she was trying to explain to me that she'd got it all wrong and over the top and she wanted to finish the book. I went, no, you fucking, that's wrong. What on earth are you doing to your fellas taking another woman to the gym? And she went, no, you can't.
Were they going to the gym?
So Ronnie was offering
But he was
relationship
going to the
counsel.
But she was trying to explain how she got it all wrong and I shouldn't be so insecure. And I went, absolutely fucking not, love. Some bird
They do
is going
squats
out with
together.
your man to tell you to work out. You've got every right to be pissed off.
Okay, Amy's been quite clear about this need for a relationship and a dog. And Ronnie's quite clearly said if you're looking for that, don't.
Don't. If you're comfortable with being single for the rest of your life, then it's okay to have a relationship.
Yeah. Well, I've been single for 8 years, so like, I'm quite ready for something. But
Just want a little something.
I think the main thing is that we don't define ourselves by someone else
Yeah.
or someone other, like the dog.
Like a dog.
I can only exist because I have a dog.
I'll be happy
Or
when I get a
can
dog.
only be happy because I've got a cat. I can only be happy because I've got a parrot.
Yeah.
Now I've got a goldfish, and I have to keep replacing it because it keeps dying.
Yeah.
Because water doesn't work. Because I keep putting cold water in it and it dies. And then I have to go and buy another one to make it out that I haven't killed the first one. So when the family comes round, I've got about 7 or 8 goldfishes hidden in a cupboard just to put in case it dies overnight. Because goldfish don't last.
Nah, man.
They don't. They go round and round and round and think, oh fuck this, and die. Right, have we got any more Christmas stories?
I got a dog, and then no, I'm joking. What?
Was it a dog someone gave you, or did you take it from someone else? Or
Do you know what? I was just joking on that one, but I always think that dogs make a massive difference when it comes to Christmas. I do.
Yeah, me too.
I remember when I was a kid, yeah, like we had this dog called Cookie.
Dog called Cookie.
Did you?
Yeah.
I had a
Come
cat
on,
called
you.
Cookie.
Did you?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Cookie's a sick name, isn't it? She was the sickest dog ever, right? We actually got her for Christmas when I lived in Cyprus, right? She was about this big, way too young to be sold.
by the way,
She was in my
dogs are not
partner.
just for Christmas.
No, dogs aren't just for Christmas. But they always make a great addition, like grabbing the wrapper and that, running around and shit.
Do you know, I've got a
I want
great
your dog
Christmas story.
Yeah, it comes
Dogs are a
out.
bit more
Christmas
friendly.
2022, as we're past it now, it was beautiful.
It was
I was
beautiful.
up in Birmingham with some great friends and we'd done a podcast. What a great
Yeah.
time of year it was.
Oh, yeah.
I must say, I have
How
to
was
add
your
that.
Christmas?
Like Jules Holland, who records the New Year show somewhat earlier in the year, we are recording this somewhat earlier in the year. So, Ben, that's bollocks. And you know. In terms of how we manage Christmas, it's more about how we manage ourselves at Christmas and as people in recovery at Christmas.
Well, I always
And I
wake
think
up
that
on
differs for
Christmas Day
everyone.
in the
Disappointed.
treatment centre. No, in the treatment centre.
How would
So
you
I'm
always work
catapulted into it.
You always work
I thought
Christmas
It's
Eve.
always worked on that, fallen on that day, yeah.
Ah.
this year too?
What, waking up in?
Yeah, because you right.
Recovery.
Yeah, that is a nice place to wake up, isn't it?
It is nice, like,
Beautiful.
sometimes to spend the
People-
day.
It would be a nightmare if it was 1899 where they keep waking up in these bizarre places. If Ronnie was having a Groundhog Day, but only on Christmas Day, and every single Christmas he wakes up as if he'd just gone into detox, that would be a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare.
That's my Christmas forever.
That
Every
is-
other day of the year's fine, but on Christmas Day I wake up like this.
I've got a fear
Ratting his
of
back
waking up one day and everything that I've just been through is just a dream, and I've still got 3 bottles of soda next to me by the bed. Imagine that.
That's frightening. There's a nightmare, that really is
And
frightening.
nightmare, and you
That
wake
is
up from it and you're like, and you're still there.
That's a good storyline for a movie, that.
Yeah.
It is actually.
But I do enjoy waking up in the treatment centre, and I've spent both Christmas, my last 2 sober Christmases in there as well. I enjoy it, I like it. I don't know if it's because I feel safe or...
It's actually a very sensible place to be.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I can play games and have fun.
Because we have to make decisions around our nearest and dearest. And for some of us, it's not necessarily possible to.
Oh, it's lovely. I'm working, mother.
Some of us, it's a welcome thing, and yeah, I want to do it. But for other people, it's no, I can't. And it's a practicality. And yet, Ronnie, you are not saying I'm going to spend Christmas Day on my own. You're saying I'm going to spend it in treatment centre.
I don't like New Year's Eve.
Last 2 or 3 New Years,
Oh,
I've
that's
just
a good
gone to bed as normal on New Year's Eve.
I can't stand it. It's too many people cheering and everything, like hugging each other and stuff, and it's like, where's my hug?
Or the expectation.
I'm
that
not
you
going to
must
get a
have
hug, am I?
partner,
Because I'm in my
and
bed,
you've got
man.
to kiss
Thinking,
them. Stroke at midnight.
And you've got to do this at midnight.
Yeah, you've got to have somebody to kiss at midnight, and that's going to be magical.
and the whole world.
That's what it is.
The whole year's going to be alright now.
That's my
The year's going to...
Did
you get me a dog?
Amy, I get like that sometimes where you think you fucking single and you think to yourself, it'd be nice to be in a nice or loving relationship.
Yeah, that's
He's
what
turned
I'm
round
talking
there, hasn't he?
about.
Hey, look,
He's
he wants
changed
to
his
stop
mind.
dying.
This year, I've
Changed
done a
his
list.
mind.
I think like that about
List,
23 and a half
a
hours a
manifest
day.
list, and I've put that on my list. It's
It
coming.
won't last long.
I'm getting married this year.
Someone else I know in recovery said that. They were literally divorced.
Stop it.
Relapsed
Stop
on the crack
it.
pipe.
Getting married next year.
This year.
This year?
I put it in my manifest.
2022.
List. Yeah, it's coming. It's happening.
2022.
2022. 2023.
23, yes, but not 22.
Not 22.
Mate.
That's too soon.
How
That's
many
too
times are you
soon
gonna
even
get
for
married?
me.
Yeah, get a dog first.
I don't want one of those. Like a big
I've
dog.
seen many recovery marriage,
No.
and some of them go well and some of them don't.
That's just the
That's
way
just
you
marriage.
do
And
it. I mean?
actually, contrary to anything you might hear in treatment centres or anywhere else, I don't believe for a nanosecond that every recovery relationship is doomed to fail. And
No, man.
that you
No.
absolutely shouldn't do this. You know, the last thing you should be saying to an addict or an alcoholic is don't do this.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the more you say don't do this, the more they're just going to do it.
I think I'll.
And saying don't get in a relationship, that's not in the big book.
No, and you have to
It
learn.
doesn't say in the big book don't get in a relationship. It doesn't say leave it 12 months. It doesn't say get a plant, get a pet. These are things that have turned up round the rooms. Okay, learn from experience, but it's more about where you're at around the rest of the world, isn't it? And some of us are around the rest of the world in a certain way at a certain time. And like you said, Ben, about thinking about it 23 and a half hours a day as opposed to a half hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do get that knowing. I want this. Oh shit, I can't have it. And maybe I can get this. Maybe I can get that. And it's the never again, isn't it?
Mm.
But obviously, nobody listening to this should take relationships advice from
Shit
any of
scares
us.
me anyway.
I don't
but-
believe anyone in recovery should be giving relationship advice. It's not part of the programme of recovery.
We could do an agony aunt thing.
I've
Or
heard,
advice full stop. Only suggestions.
Leave us suggestions about I mean,
I've heard if you get a dog.
Suggestion
Very
is
big around
a
that sort of
subtle command.
Not always.
I don't know if that's what I've been like looked it up as. Suggestions
It
is
is.
a subtle
It's a
command.
choice.
You know what I mean? But no, I see it as a suggestion. But I just want to make it clear, I'm not a cynic. Right? Yeah, okay.
No?
No, I'm not a cynic. Right, yeah? I just had to make that clear.
Blow me over.
You know,
See, the thing that I wanted to get in a relationship when first in recovery, I know for a fact was not a good idea, but you fall in love with an apple, so there is some advice which should be given.
fall in love with an apple. I
Yeah,
love that one.
some
Fall in love with anything, man.
suggestions.
Fall in love with anything that crosses your path that shows you a bit of affection.
Yeah.
So
Sort of an addiction
it's
for the
best
next.
to be advised that yeah, you might want to look at the other way. Be careful of that because your feelings are not real.
Yeah.
I think it's scary anyway.
Can you imagine it? It's a
I
way
think it fucking is, mate.
Oh,
Like the whole like.
fuck
What's it again?
Ron, is that your summary of marriage?
Yeah.
Morning,
You have to communicate to each other and have to say how
Every day.
Let's go down the gym together. I'm not going down the gym with you. I'll go with the neighbour.
Get out! Get out of this house! Oh, I'm doing my Sweden already.
So, Ronnie, I take it a 30-year marriage is not on the cards for you.
That's Ronnie single.
Well, whether he's available or not, he hasn't said. But if anyone were to write in to that effect, I'm sure he would answer.
Oh, mate.
I can just imagine it would be awful. I had a wife in my last house that I lived in, that was just like. It was awful. It was awful.
I got fed. It wasn't that bad. I got fed.
Some of the more reactionary opinions being expressed do not belong to all of us.
Honestly, guys, Ronnie's genuinely a nice guy.
Who can be readily misunderstood.
I'm just talking for all those people out there that pretend that they're gift with flowers and fucking this, that, and the...
Oh God, kidding me.
Ronnie's planning on being a marriage guidance counsellor.
Yeah.
A marriage breakup counsellor. Right, this is what you need to do to piss her off so much that she'll leave you.
You're still there!
You're still there. What are you doing home?
We do love our viewers though, listeners. Viewers, listeners.
Well, they can imagine what we look like. That's why we do it on audio. So they can
We've got
imagine.
photos.
Well, there's one photo, yeah, but it doesn't say who's who. It's just got a list.
And I'm the only girl, so they definitely know who I am.
Unless the whole thing's an elaborate lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie! I told you, man.
It's a lie.
It's a Neil
All of his
special.
bollocks.
It's a load of tripe. The ungrateful gitties, isn't it? That's what he is.
Neil, is your real mission here with getting on Twitter to start disrupting social media?
You'll never know. That's
and
what I'm
changing
saying.
the world
Through podcasts,
via
like
social
flat
media.
Out, yeah, through flat out recovery.
If only we could change the world. Right, last one for the year.
It's a song, isn't it?
Your stepson, whose mother divorced you, is now homeless and desperate to get clean. Do you A, arrange to give him 30 quid a day in the hope that he will find somewhere to stay? B, let him stay at yours for a week while he tries to approach housing? C, take him to a meeting? D, call a homeless charity on his behalf? E, put him up in a hotel?
Take him to a meeting, you have to get boundied off it, wouldn't you?
So he's flat out. Am I in recovery as well at the same time?
Let's assume you are in recovery.
You have to take him to a
Just
meeting.
send him to his mum's, man.
I think you're right, Matt. It's boundaries. It doesn't matter what you actually do, so long as you set boundaries on it. Because the thing is, if you start giving someone 30 quid a day, what does that mean?
Feeding their habit.
He's flat out, isn't he, man?
He doesn't need money, he needs love, doesn't he? He needs some support. Say, take him to a meeting, probably, no?
Yeah.
Or introduce him to someone else. I don't personally think I would take him to a meeting because he probably won't want to come with me. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
But just it would be like I would try and get someone else that we know because it's just, I don't know, sometimes I find if you're going with family it can be a bit.
Yeah.
If I was thinking my sister or my mum wanted to come to a meeting with me, certainly I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be so forthgoing.
But you're in the dynamics here. It's your stepson. In that, there's a little
Thing
dynamic.
is, the main reason of him coming to you will presumably be because he knows that you're in recovery.
Yeah.
That would be his reasoning. And obviously, there's a limit to how much you can help someone who is someone who knows you in a recovery scenario. You can't just sponsor someone who. You've got to be careful how well you know them and how well they know you, and also with the family thing can be a conflict of interest, really, can't it?
But isn't it saying he's homeless?
Yeah.
So what's taking him to a bloody meeting going to do? Ain't going to find him a home, is it? You're not going to find him a somewhere to sleep. You want him to be safe.
Lots
The
of people
reason-
in meetings will have links to dry houses and rehabs and stuff, so it'd be a good place to start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true.
A meeting would be a good place to start. If you could repeatedly ended up homeless and he's using, if he wasn't using, he would be homeless. And I suppose being in recovery, it's amazing, isn't it, really? You have so much access to people that are in certain sectors of work that can sort this shit, isn't it? So even if you go to one meeting, bro, you'd be like, needs to speak to you about this in a dry house, rehab, hostel.
Especially in Birmingham,
Ups-
we are
yeah,
very, very
yeah,
blessed
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
That's what I
London, you
was
wouldn't
just
really
about
have
to
that
say.
in the meetings, would you? You'd be able to go there and get a dry house setting.
not in the part
nothing like this.
not in the part of North London where I do my. It's not the same.
Completely different.
So-called normal people doing kind of so-called normal stuff, doing
Like them
recovery.
hippies, then with that, like just squatting places. That's what we like.
I think like the first thing, like what we said, is like the boundary thing needs to be set in place most definitely.
That's about the initial reaction to hearing that situation.
Yeah.
Because Matt, your initial reaction was taken to a meeting, not I'm going to buy something here.
You don't give them away.
And the boundaries thing is surely the crux of it. Because actually, if we want a roof over its head, if I'm paying for someone else's roof over their head and they're off the face, I will pay direct for what it costs to put a roof
Yeah,
over their head.
totally.
You're gonna get chewed up.
If
Yeah.
I'm going to agree to spend 50 quid on a hotel room for someone for a night, I pay it. I don't give them the money.
Yeah, of course.
And that's all boundary setting as well, isn't it? I think you're right though that there is a kind of tricky dividing line if it's family.
Especially if it's your ex-wife, yeah.
But let's just take him
It
as a
could be
human.
another recovering addict,
Yeah,
man.
you've
Or
got to
an
put the
addict,
boundaries
yeah.
in, and then also it's like who you've got in front of you, and it is how weary he's at. If he's just flat out kind of messed up,
Principles
kind
for
of thing,
personality.
yeah, then like the boundaries come in, and then like you're saying, pay for the room, do some stuff, phone the council, that kind of basic stuff that you can be doing in it, like the stuff that you can do.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, if he's homeless and he's in a bad way, the first and foremost it would be try and make sure he's safe to
Yeah,
sleep,
yeah, yeah.
somewhere safe to sleep for that night. You know what I mean? And then maybe look to get him to a meeting or put him in touch with where one is. If he wants to go, it's his decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Point him in
I
the
mean, right, you've got a safe place to stay. Here's a meeting. If you want to go to it, I'd suggest you go there.
I think it's difficult when it's anything financial because it's that thing of getting it out of my hair, isn't it? Oh, it's only going to cost me 30 quid and it'll go away. And if I've got 30 quid, or if I can afford to do that, then the tendency is, oh, this will deal with it. But it's not going to deal with that, is it?
No, totally, of course not. But at least you'll know that he's got somewhere safe to stay. I mean, if he's the fact that he's coming to you like that, you're going to then do some more after that, aren't you? Like speak to his mum, find out some more information. But at least you know he's somewhere safe, has got somewhere safe to stay if he chooses to that night.
It's also the proactive, reactive thing, isn't it? Because if I'm just being reactive to a situation like that, I'm just going to pay for him to go away. Because actually, the bottom line is if I just hand him 30 quid at the door, he's going to go away, and then he's going to come back tomorrow.
Yep.
But
Half an hour.
that's the reactive, whereas the proactive is to take stock and think, right, hang on, what can I actually do to help him?
Yeah, totally.
Because that's what we're not good at. I know I'm not the best exponent of it. I tend to be reactive rather than proactive, unless I take a couple, 3, 4 steps back and say, no, actually, I don't need to do this now. I don't need to attack this now. I can deal with this tomorrow, or I can deal with this later. Not this immediate kind of, because the immediate is something that we all do so well when we're off ahead.
And especially if it's got some sort of emotional attachment like that, some sort of
Yeah.
family relation or an ex-partner that you
Love.
probably feel a lot of guilt and shame around things that you've done in the past. It being in recovery yourself,
Yeah.
you know, you would feel like this is my opportunity to give back quick.
I mean, in this scenario, of course, then your ex might well have pushed him towards you. And so, well, I don't want you turning into him, but he managed to sort himself out, so why don't you go and ask him how he did it? There's all sorts of other factors at play. And I think we have to be really careful in terms of the way we help people. If I help people in the wrong way, I'm just encouraging codependence.
Yeah, exactly.
And where you're at that time as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you able to even fucking help?
Is it conducive
do you know
to
what I mean?
yourself?
Like, is your, as Amy's little saying, is your cup full enough to be able to give to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're not always in a place in recovery ourselves where we're able to give help and guidance to people.
I suppose that's where the danger is, because sometimes I think, I can do this.
Yeah.
And perhaps I can't. Yeah. Well, I think we've done for Christmas now.
Yay.
Done
Just
for Christmas,
about.
Rania.
But then, of course, there's New Year to consider, and all it brings.
New Year, new me
2023.
and all
What a
that.
ridiculous idea! That's in space. That is 2023.
Was that?
When I was a kid, that was something in
I
space.
know. That was Back to the Future.
When I was a little one, yeah, we had flying cars and that on the films by now.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Remember the skateboards
Yeah,
that used
yeah.
to
You was
fly?
11,
Yeah.
Where are they?
It's
That's
just
what I want to know.
11.
Hoverboards.
Well, we'll see where we get with that next week.
But you can
If
buy
you've
a flying
heard
car.
anything that has
Yeah.
resonated with you in any way concerning
Can you?
yourself, concerning anyone else you know or care about, or even your next door neighbours irritating something or other that you don't care about. Whatever is the case, if you need help, look for it.
It's the back gate, man.
I know the back gate's a problem. We're going to hear about this
I know
again,
it's
aren't we?
I know it's all.
And if you do need help, Google recovery, Google rehab, Google AA, NA, CA. There are all sorts of things out there that can help you. And have a wonderful rest of 2022.
Yeah, man.
And we will be back. Good night from me.
God bless.
Stay safe.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.